And then we said it was not limited. So all those news have been shared on the page for us to have access to it. And then this week we are talking about evaluation of self. And under the evaluation of self, we want to look at our strengths, weaknesses, personality types, of course. But then there's another part that I've added to this session. We're going to talk about self-promotion. Self-promotion. So this is something that we have already done in the first meeting, but we are just going to build up from there. And then we will look at how we can promote ourselves just as we promote businesses and then other services that we render to people. Okay, so I believe you can see the slide as well. So evaluation of self. We talk about self-evaluation. We were given an online tool that was supposed to be used to determine our personality type, and then that is based on Myers-Briggs type indicator. It is a system that is used by researchers researchers in the area of psychology to learn about human behavior and then how this human behavior reflects their personality types. So based on this, we're able to develop what we actually are. So some of you were ISTJ individuals, others were ESTJ, and then a whole lot of things. So that concept of personality type evaluation that we did using that online, so I believe you've all done it. That thing we did, it's based on a couple of factors, and there are four major factors that it's based on. The first factor is about whether a person is an extrovert or an introvert. So it's based on extraversion or introversion. So if you're an I person, it means you're an introvert. If you're an E person, you're an extrovert. The second part has to do with sensing and intuition. So if you're an IS, means you're an introvert that is sensing individual. If you're an II, you are introvert, you are intuitive person. So you have the sensing or intuition. The intuition is represented by N. Then we have thinking and feeling, how you react to things. Do you think through things or you move by your feeling, emotions of things? So that aspect too is a factor. And then the last part is judging or perceiving. When you see things, how do you approach them? Do you approach them from a judgmental point of view, or you want to perceive how the things are before you make conclusions? So this is the Myers-Briggs type indicator. So MBTI is a system of evaluating our self personality. But the interesting thing is, I chose this system for us all to use because from studies, this one is an evaluation tool that is backed by science, is backed by research, unlike uh, other personality tools or other temperamental tools that are usually based on belief systems. So there are people that develop or find out who they are or evaluate their self based on astrology or based on horoscope. So occasionally you see people post that June borns are this way, Thursday borns are that way, tall people are this way, short people are this way. So these things stem out of a belief system, and it may not be wholly so for the majority of people, even though you would have a couple of people truly showing those character. Of course, even the ones that are backed by research, the MBTI system, it's backed on data that has been collected over time period and that has been used to develop that. But of course, since that is a research, it's been critiqued, and out of critiques, it's been developed over and over to get that good system of evaluating personalities. Okay, so that is the reason why we chose that system. So I'll entreat you all that if you've not done that assignment in the first module, that's the 1.1, kindly revisit that and then do that assignment because it's a build up from here. So based on that, we can now link that personality type to the temperaments. And then today I'll be talking a bit about temperaments. Okay, so in this training session, in this 360 mentorship training program, on the aspect of self, which is the model one, we are using the tools of MBTI personality test scheme, and then the Greek temperaments. That's the melancholic, choleric, sanguine, and then phlegmatic. We will not be going into horoscopes and then astrology because that's more of belief systems, and I would not want to dwell into that. I don't place my belief in those things, and because of that, I would not also want to share. I've not studied much into that, and I would not want to go into that aspect. So, personality types and temperaments are useful. They are useful tools for us to evaluate who we are. It provides an insight into individuals' behavior traits, our strengths and weaknesses, and then they can be determined through various tests, just as we have said. Then temperaments, on the other hand, are a broader category that describes an individual's general approach to life, such as melancholic, we have the phlegmatic, we have the choleric, and we have the sanguine. We will get to understand basically what that means in the next slides. So, a self evaluation using these personality types or temperaments, educational qualifications, dream career paths, and all of that can help provide a valuable insight into an individual's strength, the weakness, aspirations, and out of that, we can be well informed of our personal and professional development. So, it's important to approach self evaluation with an open and reflective mindset, seeking feedback from people you are closely related to. In the first lesson, we learned that even Jesus on earth, whilst he was walking with his disciples, he asked, "What do men think of me? Who do men say that I am?" And then he asked the closest people who were in close proximity to him. So it's important that we seek feedback from people, and then we should also be willing to learn and grow. We should not say that I'm an introvert and forever an introvert. So I would not want to be heard. I would not want to come out. There will be a defect to you, even though that is who you are. You might end up, instead of you benefiting from knowing that you're an introvert and you can be a better person than just in quotes introvert, you'd you'd just remain like that and then you will not be a better version of yourself. So you should be willing to learn and then grow irrespective of whatever temperament that we have. And in today's lesson, I'll be drawing inspiration from my own personal um, um, evaluation of self and then how I've helped myself grow out of introversion because I'm a typical introvert. So the four temperaments we have the choleric, we have the sanguine, we have the melancholy, we have the phlegmatic. If you can see my pointer, so this is the choleric. So we have four line schemes here. The one that goes to the right talks about people. So the temperaments here are those who are outgoing, they are people oriented, they are service oriented, they want to be doing things for people. So sanguines and phlegmatics, they are people oriented. They care for people, they want to render services to people. And then when we come to the other side, the left side, They are task oriented. The cholerics and the melancholics, they are task oriented. So the choleric is results oriented. He wants things done, get results, he wants results. And the melancholy wants things done, but he wants the quality of the things. So they follow through things in a very meticulous way. They are very process detailed oriented people. But the cholerics want things done irrespective of how the process goes. I want my results. That's the choleric. Then the sanguine, people oriented, phlegmatic, they are service oriented. So when you look at these base parts to the melancholy and the phlegmatics, they are introverted. Usually they are introverts in nature. Then when you look at the cholerics and the sanguines up here too, they are extroverted. So the four temperaments we have them in a Venn diagram over here. We have the true choleric, we have the true phlegmatics, we have the true melancholics, and we have the true sanguines. And I must say that we all may not be true cholerics or true sanguine or true melancholics or true phlegmatics. But then we will have one of the temperaments that will dominate in another that will be uh, bit of a minor. However, you have those two merged together. So what this seems to do is to put all the four temperaments together and then see where we fit based on the personality type. So if you've not done that first assignment, I will encourage you to do that. So if you did that assignment, so I know by now you know the kind of personality you are based on the questions you answered, the survey you did. So I am an ISTJ person from that survey. So an ISTJ person can be found in between the true choleric and the true phlegmatic. So who is a true choleric? The person is results oriented, right? And the service oriented person to the phlegmatic. Though results oriented, is also service oriented. So it's a people person and it's a tax person. So if you look at me, I think you will see that trait very dominant, right? So let's look at the personality type that you obtain from the survey we did, and then based on that, uh, you can find out of the four temperaments where you fit. So let me take someone at random and then let's see if it works with you. Joe, Joseph,
Hello.
yeah. I hope you did the first assignment. So what is your personality type?
My personality. Well, since I got an INTJ, so maybe that's a true
Right.
phlegmatic.
Okay, so
INTJ.
INTP. So that is a true phlegmatic. So
Yep.
you are
Me.
more of a people person, but you are an introvert, so service oriented. Is that true with you? When you look at yourself, do you think you are an introvert? You are not outgoing, you are reserved, but you love to help people as well.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, these things will have their own lapses, but then it helps us to know ourselves better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Peter, let me pick Peter. So Peter too, I am sure you did that assignment. So what was your personality type? Yeah, Peter, from the assignment, what was your personality type? The survey we did in the first
Hello,
lesson.
please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, after the test, I was INTJ.
INTJ. Okay. All right. So that is also a true phlegmatic. Okay. Okay. So Benjamin, too, what was your personality type? I just hope you are also not INTJ. Then we'll be like all of you on the call are INTJ.
No, ISTJ. Can you hear me?
All right, that's good. Yeah, ISTJ. Okay, I think
Yeah,
I've explained INTJ.
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
I'm not surprised. So when we get to as we go on, I'll explain something. I think last week I mentioned that your value system or what you preach or what you stand for. Um, Once you know who you are and then what you stand for, what you communicate, you begin to draw people who are like your type to yourself. And so I'm not surprised that many of the people I'm mentioning are an I kind of person because personally I'm an introvert. So the number of people who are also of that trait will draw more to me. So I'm not surprised. Okay, so let's look at introverts and then how best that we can stand out, considering the fact that majority of the people in this program are introverts. So introverts can definitely find it challenging to get noticed in a very noisy environment. And of course, we all can attest to the fact that the world we live in today is a very noisy world. Everybody wants to be heard, everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be that icon. All right, even in our churches, in ministries, right? Everybody wants to be seen that I'm the leader, I am the this, I'm the CEO, I am this, I'm that, right? In our organizations we work with, everybody wants to be seen, okay? That I'm the boss, I'm the head, I do this, I do that, right? That is the noisy world we find ourselves in today. But then, how can introverts stand out even in a world like that? There are few strategies that you can use to stay true to yourself as an introvert. Even though you're staying true to yourself, you still stand out. I'm an introvert, and I'm sure that if I had done this survey some time ago, I would also have been an INTJ person. That's a very typical introvert, service-oriented person. Yeah, because it's very likely that many Christians or people who love doing good will be phlegmatic because they won't always want to help. They always want to render service to people, right? So it's very typical. You find them under the service-oriented people, and then just because of that introversion, you become a true flamer. But how can you maximize being an introvert and not just stay not being noticed, not being recognized? Okay. I'm not saying that being a pure introvert does not help. It's not a good thing. It's good to stay true to who you are. But then the world system we find ourselves in does not support introverts like that, and especially our part of Africa, our part of the world. If you stay very true to yourself as an introvert, you might end up missing out on a lot of opportunities that probably it will use you. Okay. So one of the ways you can stand out as an introvert is to focus on your strengths. What can you do very well? Focus on that. Be consistent at it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it till everyone around knows that when it comes to leadership, like I mentioned, Jesse, when it comes to mentoring people or grooming people, like I mentioned Jesse's name. So be someone who is focused on what your strengths are. Capitalize on that. Build something around it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it till the world gets to know that this is something that when we mention, maybe if we mention food microbiology, I can tag Benjamin with that. Okay, so you keep focusing on that strength. It should not just be about personality, the strength things we discovered during the first session about personality. It shouldn't just be about that, but then your strengths when it comes to your work, when it comes to even your studies as a student, what are your strengths? When it comes to maybe a particular subject, you are so good at it, focus on that till everybody in the class knows that when it comes to electronics, Joseph is the guru when it comes to electronics. So if I don't understand anything, I must see him. And when I come to the next point, you understand why it's necessary you focus on your strengths. So the second thing is you find a quiet ways, you should find quiet ways of standing out. And there are a number of quiet ways you can stand out. But some of the things that have worked for me is leadership. I mean, one of the main things that has worked for me, a quiet way I've been able to stand out is leadership. Right? There is that popular saying by Ashanti is that, oh, I think I kind of miss it, but it's more like God, God has a way of helping, uh, like everybody has some kind of help. Like God has his own way of helping everybody, like meeting the weaknesses of every individual. So you would realize that a very introverted person who is a thinking person, ISTJ, somebody who is thinking so deep, somebody INTJ or something, somebody who is thinking so deep about things will be able to critically bring out solutions to problems and all of that. And so the person qualifies to be a leader. However, our noisy world will not permit such people into certain kind of leadership roles that are very political because to gain very political roles you have to be able to stand out. So there are other leadership forms you may take. There are some leadership roles that are not so political, that do not demand so much of voting, but I demand you volunteering that I want to serve. So it can be in the house of God, it can be in a voluntary organization where they want a leader to lead. Some small organization that's not too big where there will be that politics or that game of votes. You just go out there and then stand for that position, and then it puts you out there automatically. Fine, you may be an introvert, but just because of leadership, people will be drawn to you. Personally, throughout senior high school, I was an introvert. Uni, I was still introvert. I'm still introvert in some way, right? But I capitalized on leadership so much that when I walk around on campus today, like now, I meet a lot of um, people, Prempeh College guys, and then they'll be like, I know you somewhere, I know you. And sometimes I find it difficult to make out such people, but then I just try to mention a couple of places I've been. And many a times I find such people, maybe coming from Pempe, and they'll be like, I know you from Pempe, you were a prefect. And that's the only thing they can remember me for because I was not so outgoing over there. I was not all over. Um, I wasn't that I wasn't into social events like some other people who are well known everywhere. But just for the fact that I was a leader, some way, somehow, an introvert has been put at an iconic position where everybody has seen what you do or what you've done. So, because of that, though you didn't end up introducing yourself to everybody, when you stand somewhere, they know that I know this person somewhere. It's the same. You can be in an organization, a very big organization, and then can be a leader in just your department. Because of that, going for um, management meetings and all of that, it puts you out there for everybody else in the organization to see you. Meanwhile, you might be introverted in your own small corner, but just because you become an iconic figure as a result of your leadership role, people people get to know you, right? So that's one way of standing out as an introvert. Then writing, research, all of these are ways of standing out as introvert. You may not be very good at exhibitions or standing out to exhibit your product to the world, to know that this is what you've done and all of that. But you can put it in writing. You can go into writing of books. You can go into researching and publishing your works. It puts you out there. When people search for you, they can find you online, and then it makes you known or noticed in what you do as an introvert. All right. Then the next point is build deep connections. Build deep connections with people. Maximize your good listening ability. Introverts are people who are very good at listening. They always want to hear people and think deeply, try to put themselves in the shoes of people to know what they are going through. So they are very thoughtful. So build deep connections out of that thoughtful ability of yours. Okay, you can tell an extrovert that you are not feeling well today, and the next minute the person has not even remembered that. But if you tell an introvert that you are not well, you are sure that the next day the introverts, many of them would check up on you. So maximize on that ability to build deep connections with people. It's not in the masses of connections you may have, but even the few people that you have, build a deep connection with them, so much so that if someday those few people you have are somewhere, they can still lead you to that um, greater network of people they also know. All right. If you've built a very deep connections with a small circle of people, some of them will definitely be extroverts. Some of them will definitely also have other smaller circles you are not privy to. But then, if you need any assistance, they can lead you to the next people or the next person who may be of help to you. So build deep connections, maximize your ability of listening and your thoughtfulness to build deep connections with people. Then the next thing is find your tribe and vibe. Find your tribe and vibe. There's something common in my check. They will always tell you to find something that like find your area of specialization, everything is in academia, find some academics there, all right, and vibe with them so that they link you up to opportunities in the academic space. Find entrepreneurs if you're an entrepreneur, and then link up with them, vibe with them, know the challenges they are facing, know how their challenges, how they are handling those challenges, and then when you face them, you can be able to also work on them. So find your tribe and then vibe. So from last week's session we had on the values, we understood that your value system is sort of a magnet that attracts people of like values to you. It's the same thing with your personality type. If you are an introvert, you are likely to attract introverts. If you are an extrovert, you are likely to also attract extroverts because in the first place, you would like to associate with such people. All right, because those are the people that will understand who you are, understand what you are, and all of that. And once you find them, you would realize that it will help you relate more and communicate more. And when we get to the model three, I think this is a very good tool you can that can help you even in your love life. You find people um, who are just like you, and then you'll be able to vibe. So both of you can be introverts. However, communication will still go on, and then you just get better at, I mean, communicating and then opening up to each other. So you find your tribe and then you vibe. The next thing is be intentional with your communication. That links up to the building deep connections. Be intentional, right? So the other thing we'll add to the deep connection about intentionality is as an introvert, you would naturally not feel like chatting someone, like texting someone. You can exchange contacts from programs and all of that, but you naturally not feel like texting the person because you feel all good by yourself. So if nobody even checks up, you are fine. But be intentional. Check up on someone. Send a monthly message, Happy New Month to someone. All right. Send an encouraging message from time to time to the person. Send wish the person a happy birthday and be intentional about it. Post the person, write something nice about the person. By that, you build that deep connections with the people that you come into association with. Okay. And then take care of yourself as an introvert. Prioritize your solitude and reflection because it helps you to recharge yourself and then move out there again uh, for the world to benefit from who you are. So prioritize that. If truly you enjoy solitude, being alone, reflecting about life and all of that, don't be so concerned when the noisy world wants you to be all out every time. Find time for yourself, retreat, and then have a reflection of yourself. Yeah. Then extroverts. I know this will not apply to many people in this mentorship program. However, we'll just run through that. Extroverts will naturally be outgoing and expressive, but then also there are a few strategies they can also use to tone down their behavior and avoid coming across as a nuisance or overconfident people. Right. Sometimes you naturally find some people to be a nuisance. They just come across as people who are just making so much noise on the social media space and everywhere. Right. So as an extrovert who have that tendency of being such a person, how can we tone down some of these things? Practice active listening. So instead of dominating conversations, allow people to speak, listen to people, right? Take breaks. Do not just be all over. You always want to be here. Take some break. It will help you to also recharge yourself, even though you thrive on social interactions. It will help you to also recharge yourself because you need me times, you need times alone, right? So you take breaks, even off social media from time to time as an extrovert. There's no need posting your daily life on, on your media space. Sometimes take breaks. Let people find you a bit mysterious sometimes. And let people try to find out what's going on in your life. Your whole life should not be out there. So if you're an extrovert, you should tone down your social media presence and then your presence at social events as well. Then ask questions. When people are communicating with you, ask questions. When you ask questions, it will help introverts you are relating um, to come out and then explain better who they are to you. Then practice humility. Be intentional about humility. So just as the introvert should be intentional about communication, the extrovert should be intentional about humility because you come across as somebody who is overconfident, and if you are not careful, people will see you as proud. So you must be intentional about being humble to authority and then to everybody that you come across. And you should respect the boundaries of people. Not all people are extroverts. Not all people are outgoing like you. If you are having fun, you are going somewhere and somebody would not want to join. Respect their boundaries. Encourage them, but if still they wouldn't want to, respect their boundaries and their needs and their preferences. So now we'll move on to self promotion. I think we are done with the aspect of evaluation of self. If there are any questions up to this point, you can bring it up for discussion. All right, so we'll move on to the self promotion. It's so easy to market a product, so easy to market product, even though it's difficult for some introverts. But as compared to marketing yourself or your personal brand, it's very easy to market a product or a service than oneself. So before a person sees a product or hears about the service you render, you are most likely to be seen first as a person. What do you have to do then? Why why is it necessary to promote yourself? Why should somebody find you as an authentic person to buy from or to purchase a service from? That's what self promotion is about. So, if you are a food quality analyst, you are analyzing samples for people. Yes, in your inner circle, everybody knows that you are a person of integrity, you are a person of trust and all of that. Now, why should somebody outside who doesn't know you put their trust in you doing the work for them? How do you want? Why should I patronize the service you are rendering to people? Why should I patronize in your writing services? Why should I patronize in your personal branding program or something? You should promote yourself. You should be able to sell out who you are first before any product or service that you render as an introvert or as extrovert, whatever you are. But I'm dwelling. I took time to develop this aspect because I found out that majority of us on the program, this very session of the mentorship program, are introverts. So this is very important. How do you promote yourself? This is part of ways of standing out as an introvert, right? For the world to know and to see what you do. The first thing you can do is to define your personal brand. And in the first session we had, we learned about some of these things. Think about what makes you unique in whatever you do. Okay, what makes you unique? What is your unique specialty? You learned food science, you're a food scientist, but there are a lot of disciplines in food science. Which part is your unique or your strengths? Is it food microbiology? Is it food chemistry? Is it sensory? Or yeah, is it sensory evaluation? Is it food engineering? All right, you are an administrator. What is something unique about administrative work you do? Is it about proofreading letters? Is it about creativity? Are you able to create content in, in the spur of a moment? Are you able to organize documents? There should be an area of speciality, something that makes you unique from all other administrators. However, you should have the basics that every person of your qualification or any person doing that service or rendering that product or service for sale does. You should have that basic and then you should have that uniqueness. So you define your personal brand. And then the second thing is you develop a brief message that carries out the message about who you are and what you do. Develop a brief message that does that. So in our lessons, you would see that after the introduction before the lesson you have the second page that talks about me, talks about a brief message about who I am. So when we say JJC, what comes to mind when you search me online, when you search me on Google? What should pop up? What should the world know about who JC is? So develop a brief message that carries out something about you and what you do, and build an online presence because we are living in a digital age. So you need to build an online presence. And I recommend everybody in this program to at least have a LinkedIn account. And you should also have at least a Facebook account for some social stuff, content. And then LinkedIn for very professional content. Build an online presence is very important. It's very important because when people doubt your credibility and they search you out online, they should find who you are. right? Then network, develop conversation status for your offline presence as well. It shouldn't just be online. Develop a starter, something that you may use to start up a conversation to build network for people. Just start a conversation and you can ask the person what the person's name is. And then ask the next question. Then the subsequent question, make sure you mention the person's first name. So yeah, you said you are interested in food microbiology. Can you briefly explain to me what are some of the challenges you've experienced over the years working in the lab? Just have conversation status and try and then memorize people's first name. Get them involved in the conversation by mentioning their first name when you start the conversation with them. Right. So that's a good way to develop data for your offline presence. You see someone and they just break the ice by saying, "Oh, I like your dress. I like your outfit." Right? Somebody mentions the name. Wow, such a sweet name. Oh, this name reminds me of my auntie. It reminds me of my sister. My sister is by this name. Right? Just to what start up a conversation. Right? So have these startup conversation startups. I would share a book that's really blessed my conversation life with you on the WhatsApp page. The Fine Art of Small Talks. I think it's a very good book. Encourage every introvert to read. So develop a conversation starter for offline presence. Then the last point under self promotion I'll talk about is be consistent in what you do. So if you develop a brief message about yourself that you are a food microbiologist, be consistent in that. Let the post you post online, the messages and your communications, even offline, carry out something brief about yourself, what you do. Right? You're a Christian. You've never posted scripture on your stats before. You're a Christian. You go to church. You've never posted a picture of uh, um, a church service you've had or like a picture of you after church that it's a bad thing. Once a while, show the world what you do, a bit of it. Give them a clue that this is who I am, right? And paint it out there very clearly for people to know. You may never know that will be a thing that will attract someone of that same or that's kind of passion or it's that kind of interest to you, and then the conversation builds up from there. So when you search online, I will just see what do you see? What does my online presence communicate? If you search me online, at least you'll find my Facebook account. On my Facebook, my bio reads Christian Youth Ministry, Food Quality Analyst, Keyboardist, Media Techie. So when you see these things describe who I am, and everybody close by will attest to that of course Jesse posts Christian stuff. You see a bit of youthfulness and youth ministry stuff on the things he posts. You see a bit of food quality, you see a bit of keyboard, you see a bit of music, right? You see a bit of media or a technology person. So it's the same thing on my WhatsApp. And when you search me online, by the virtue of being in KNST, you find the KNST profile as well over there. And even with this, you find a couple of workers who have not even updated their profile. But I think it's a good place to also update your profile for the world to know who you are. You may never know who will be digging you up to find out more about you and then bring your next multi-million job opportunity. So it's very important. And then you find my LinkedIn account, Food Quality Analyst. I talk about coaching, I talk about young people, I talk about fermentation, food microbiology, Christian leadership. So all of these things identify who I am. You find a bit of Christianity in all these things. You find a bit of science. You find a bit of music. of course. So you should build a certain presence that anybody that searches you out knows who you are. Okay. So we'll move to the last session for today's meeting, and that is the elevator pitch concept. Elevator pitch concept. And then after today, you have an assignment. Everybody is supposed to develop a 60 seconds video where you develop that video out of this concept. All right. So when you go to YouTube, you find a lot of elevator pitches. When we say elevator pitch, it simply means a concise or compelling summary of who you are, what you do, and what you value, what value you can bring to a potential employer or client. So it's typically delivered in the time space it takes to ride an elevator. So usually the elevator will take about 30 seconds to 60 seconds to reach your destination, to reach the top, right? And if you are in the lift as well, it's going to be about the same time. Yeah, but it depends on the floor you're going to. But basically, that is the concept where it's derived from. So the whole concept is before you get out of a lift or before you get out of an elevator, you should have been able to interact with someone. If you should have been able to tell someone who you are, what you do, and what value you can bring to the person's life, what problem you can solve in the person's life based on what you do. If it's a service you are rendering, if it's a product you sell, you should be able to sell that product within that few minutes you spent, within that few seconds you spent with the person. Okay. And this is a tool that network marketing companies have developed so well and capitalized on. And when Max International started, it was all over. They were having conferences, how you can pitch, how you can get to interact with people, prospect people for your products and then services that you render. Of course, because that one, the rewards, the money was directly attached to people subscribing to your product. People do it wholeheartedly. But it's sad that when it comes to our own personal self, our personal values, and what we are, the totality of who we are and what we can offer, it becomes difficult because we are not looking at the bigger rewards that will come in future. So if you have the opportunity, you go for a conference, you've met great speakers, you have the opportunity to speak to them. Don't let those opportunities slide you by. Make sure you grab those opportunities. If you're unable to speak to them, try and connect with them on social media after the conference. Make sure you have texted them. Make sure you have sent a message. Build something from there. All right. Um, I wish I can pull up. Yeah, of course. I'm sharing my screen, so I'll pull up a chat I had with one uh, business official in EcoBank. Of course, I know him, but then he was on campus for a program. I don't know if I can do this, but I have to hide the name. Good. And I'll tell you the lessons that I have from that. And I'm showing you practical ways you can do that as well. Okay. So the message reads, there was an earlier message. Good evening. It was a morning, sorry. Good morning. And trust all is well with you. I was at the mindset conference yesterday, but I had to attend to some other duties by 7 p.m. So I left before the program closed. It was indeed a good place to learn. I was blessed by your Sparta framework. You are an inspiration to me and the body of Christ as a whole. May the Lord bless you abundantly. Good. So this is a message from that conversation I had. So you realize that I didn't have the opportunity to speak to him after the program, even though I had seen him post it and then we had a conversation on Facebook, and he knew I might be around. Okay. But he said something. He said, "Oh, really? You should have reached out." Then later he can say, I explained why I couldn't have reached out because of where he was seated and all. He said, "No, but I would have loved to see you. This is a top business official who came for a program." And I learned my lessons from this. Okay. You you must make that effort to meet such people after the conference and then have an interaction with them. Okay. And then also, there's something you notice I did. The fact that I could not meet the person does not mean that I I did not let the person know I was there. I made sure the person know or got to know that I was there to support whatever he was doing. All right. And then because of that, if I am also doing anything and I need his assistance, of course, that's not the goal. But if I'm doing anything, I need his assistance or anything, and I reach out to him, this is someone who supports what I do. So, of course, he would also want to uh, come out to help, right? So it's always good that we always do that thing. So, what are the take home points from this message? I was at the conference. I made my presence there, him or her aware of my presence there. It was a good place to learn. So I'm communicating that yes, I learned. What did you learn? I made sure that the exact thing that blessed me from the program, I had scripted it in the message before the general, um, how do you call it, pleasantries that will come by the message. Okay, so when you make these messages very specific, you make the people feel appreciated of what they are doing, and then they feel that truly you were involved or you participated. Okay, so I'm showing you practically what some of these things we are talking about is, and then how they can go a long way to bless us. Right, let me find my slide and then we'll continue. All right. So the elevator pitch speak entail the following. This is a concept, a basic introduction of yourself, what you do, the service you render, or the product you sell, what problem your product or your service solves, what makes your product or your services unique, and finally, a call of action or a call to action. Okay. Well, where can you apply this? Can I apply this at events? We have just 4 minutes. Wow. You can apply this at events gatherings like conferences, workshops, church services. Try and know someone, at least one person, after such events gatherings. Whilst on the bus, or on the flight, try and get to know someone, and then pitch yourself, tell who you are, what you do. It will go a long way to help you. Majority of you on this mentorship program are students or interns or service personnel.
this is a good way to launch yourself into a job opportunity. All right. Pitch yourself so much that so that if you need a place for your next internship, you have somewhere to go. Okay. As at the time I was in second year as a student, I had pitched myself so much that at least I had three places in mind for internship that I could have chosen from. This is not some internship opportunity that your department is giving you. Of course, my school we didn't have that opportunity where your department puts you out there for internship in places. You have to go and look for the place yourself. But I had teach myself that I had places in mind. Okay, I remember as a second semester, a long vacation internship. I had Intertech Minerals laboratories in the Western region in mind. I had a hospital in mind. I had Ghana Water in mind. Okay. So by the time I go to third year, I had all these places I could have chosen from for my internship. So pitch yourself is a very good thing to do. Pitch yourself so that uh, you meet people every now and then at places. There are officials in your church, there are officials in your workplace, in your schools. Communicate with them, tell them your aspirations, your dream, your career dream path, and all of that. We'll do that in detail when we get to the module two. And I'm sure that at the end of this mentorship program, you'll be an all excelling man. That's what my desire is for all of you. Okay. So that we can all be able to pitch ourselves into places and then communicating with people. And then when we need any next opportunity, we know where to go to. Right. Somebody said something that favor is from God, but favor can be worked. Of course. So, and I believe that, I mean, even though it comes from God, you have to position yourself to receive it from God. So, one way of positioning yourself for the favor of God is to put yourself out there. Number one. Number two, communicate what you stand for, who you are, the service or product you can give out to the world, the problem that your product or service can solve. Put that out there clearly to people, both online and offline, so that when there's any next new opportunity somewhere, somebody can just mention your name for that opportunity. Okay. So, what are the tips in developing a pitch? This is our last slide. We are within time, it's 4:30. So, the first thing is to define your unique selling proposition. Your unique selling proposition. And when we say unique selling proposition, all that I mean by that is that you should be able to tell that unique or the to let them know or whoever you are conversing with, that unique thing about the product or a service that you are rendering. Okay, that uniqueness should come out. So that's your unique selling proposition. That should come out. Then the second thing is should identify your target audience and tailor your message accordingly. You definitely have a target audience for a program you would want to go to, a conference you want to go to, a church service you are going to, I mean, a program you are going to. There's a certain class of people there. So you will tailor the message you want to put across when you meet anybody. You tailor it, practice it, develop that message, practice it until it feels natural just before the program. And when you go, be authentic. It's good that we polish ourselves and become professional, but then we should also let our passions and personality shine through all that we are saying. Okay. Be authentic about it and then practice that. Practice your pitch till it becomes so natural and then you can discuss it with people. when you meet them at conferences and then workshops. Then have a call to action. After you have conversed, after you have introduced yourself, what you do, and all of that, the next thing is to have a call to action, exchange contact details, start a conversation, follow up meetings, right? And link up on social media in this age. If even you missed taking the contact, you should be able to link up on social media. All right. Just last Friday at the graduation in Ken University, I met one of my lecturers. I started a conversation with him. Unfortunately, he was finding it hard to make me out because he's not a lecturer in my department. We just borrowed a course from their department, medical lab, introduction to medical lab. And after mentioning one or two mates of mine, he could now make my batch out. We talked for a while and then we exchanged contacts. The next thing I did, it's natural that you just take the contacts and then walk away. The next thing I did was to make sure that he has also saved my contact. So I called and I told him, oh, that's my contact as well. I made sure he knows what I am doing now. I told him I'm a technician in KNST now, and then also on my master's program. And then he started a conversation that, oh, one or two things that I could do better what I'm doing, and then if I really want to be in academia, what I should be doing, and all of that. So these are some of the things. Okay, link up with people, have a call to action. Don't just end it there, right? This that now I have the contact name. Within by next month, beginning of the month, I'll push a happy new month message to him. All right. I know people get bored with this happy new month thing, but of course, it's a good thing to do. You don't really have to put the happy new month at the end of your message. Just put something inspiring on the person's chat space. Because add the happy new month. If you think the person is not interested in it, just push the message. Heartwarming message there. If it's a holiday, Independence Day, push some message there, right? And then that's a good call of action. Right? Link up with such people on social media. When they post something, react, comment on it. It can just be a simple congratulations. Comment on it, react to it. Right. And it's a good way to let the people know that you're interested in what they do. So that someday if there's something about you also, they will also show interest in what you are doing. Okay. And then follow up with meetings. If it's a product or service you are rendering that you have pitched, you should follow up with a meeting. Ask, oh, what time will be convenient for me to meet up with you, and then maybe elaborate more on the service that I render or on the product that I sell. Book for such a meeting, a very professional one with the person. You can host a Zoom session or a virtual session, and then share that product or service that you are rendering to the world. Okay. Then the next thing is you must note that all these things we've talked about, it might sound very professional, and then you'll be tempted to make sure all of whatever you'll be drafting about yourself and all of these things will be in English and you master them just in English. But I told you, some of the people that will lead you to your next breakthrough opportunities probably have not stepped foot in school. All right. So you should practice your pitch in all your spoken languages. So if you speak English, you speak Keys, you speak Fanti, you speak Ewe, make sure you are fluent in them. Make sure all these tips you have, all these things you know about yourself, you've mastered them in those local languages as well. All right. So you should look beyond the professional audience. The market woman in your church may hold the keys to your next door of opportunity. So when you meet them and you are conversing with them and they ask, intimate say, then now we service you where they Oh, me, and I say, we school where they? Oh, mommy, oh, mommy, we school. Me, I'm national service. That's what many people will say, and they will end it there. No, you school, no. Me, I'm national service will take me a lab technician or take, and I say, me, say, will take. Okay, the next immediate thing many people have interacted with on this level think is the lab technician at stake is at the university hospital. Then now we use the opportunity to explain to them, oh, lab ni your different types, your hospital labs, and your labs is aduane mu ne nsuo ne drinks mu. Nti no mehwɛ aduane ne nsuo ne drinks no. Te sɛ deɛ wotie advert wɔ TV so say vetted and approved by FDA. Use something they can easily relate to. Nti ansa na product ne bɛba out no, yɛyɛ test no bi na ɔmo akɔ pɛ approval ne ade wɔ FDA sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a ɔmo betumi ayɛ advert ne ade. This is something that everybody can relate to when I talk about these things. So look for something, look for what you do, the unique thing about what you do, get a grasp of it, practice it over and over again, be natural about it. It should flow naturally, and then you should be able to communicate it in all your spoken languages to anybody that you meet. And of course, it will be a great door opener to your career path and also to even your love life. Yeah. So, activity for this class or this lesson today is you're supposed to record a 60-second video of yourself promoting yourself and what you do using the elevator pitch concept. Right. And the submission is on or before 30th of March 2023. I think that's about 2 weeks from now. It's enough ample time for us all to do that. Yes, it's 2 weeks from now. That will be on a Thursday. Okay, so because it's going to be on a Thursday, I think I'll set that to latest by 1st April. 1st April is a Saturday. Let's try and work on it and then send it. It can be a selfie video, not necessarily someone coding. It can be a selfie video, but try and work within maximum of 50 seconds. 60 seconds. Upload it to your Google Drive. I'll give detailed instructions on this on the page. Upload it to your Google Drive and then share the link with me. Then the next thing is you edit your bio online. Okay, your WhatsApp bio, Facebook, LinkedIn. Make sure you do all of that. You should communicate who you are, what you do, so that somebody takes your contact, says about you. The person has a fair idea of who you are and will not be guessing. Is this the LGC at University or is this another LGC I have on my contact list? Especially if you are not someone who puts out your profile picture. Of course, people have personal reasons for doing that, and I think your bio is something that can be out there. You can sign up for a LinkedIn account if you don't have one. When you do that, connect with me. I'll be ready to provide recommendation for you and then also help you to optimize your LinkedIn page. Our very professional LinkedIn optimization services at Westcott Consult, which I work with. That one is at a fee. Yeah, so we offer professional services. There's one person on our team who does LinkedIn optimization, but the basis of it, I am ready to coach you to. You should have a backdrop photo that talks about what you are, who you are, and those things in a very quality profile pic, high definition one. Don't put yourself there. Put a quality profile pic there on LinkedIn and then write something interesting about what you do. Okay. In this time and age, there are online tools you can use to develop something about yourself. In the bio, just go online and search a job title and ask them for a summary for that, and then you get that, you put that out there on your LinkedIn. Just build a very professional account, and you might get opportunities also through that. Even if you don't, like I said, it puts your integrity out there. Integrity should not just be something within, it shouldn't be something that you alone and the people you who know you can know that you are someone of integrity. You should practically demonstrate it. It's one of the things in quality management systems. You should not just hold integrity to yourself. You should practically demonstrate it. You should practically demonstrate your integrity out there by putting yourself out there as who you are and what you do in the social media space. Thank you very much for your time today. It's been a long session, but I hope that you've been blessed. In the course of the week, I'll share documents that will give you sample pitch for various roles. But this is one uh, about me. I mean, a short one. So I'm a food quality analyst with close to 4 years experience in physical, chemical, compositional, and microbiological analysis of food. I have offered pro bono consultancy services to companies that have registered their novel products with regulatory authorities and continue to assist researchers in food product testing and shelf life studies. I am a dollar away and kindly consider recommending me to others. So this is a very brief one. I think can last within 60 seconds. So if you meet someone and you tell the person this, you've explained something unique about what you do. You're offering free consultancy services to company that analyze their products at your end and all of that. So somebody who is doing this is somebody worth recommending for a bigger role. So these are some of the things. Put yourself out there, and I know that when next an opportunity knocks on the door of our world, will come searching for you. God bless you. If there are any questions, you can bring it up. Any questions?